Hi there. I guess the enemy doesn't want me to put this out. I've had such a hard time. Um, I know I haven't put a lot of videos out. I've made some recordings and I haven't put them out there. Like I haven't put a photograph with them and uploaded them to my YouTube account. I apologize for that. I've been really working really hard, really stressed out. There's been a lot going on and just, not pushing it like I used to right now. But I hope people are still listening to my channel once in a while. I'm totally blacklisted and everything, totally shadow banned and all this stuff, but I still do it. Anyway, I want to share with you, and I've already recorded this thinking it was recording. So I'm going to do this again. Alrighty. So last night I had like a vision and it was really, really interesting. So I feel like I need to share it with you guys as a form of encouragement and warning. And I also encourage you guys I'm going to read off a bunch of scriptures and then to look at them and read them yourself, maybe write them down, put them in your heart, do something because, our times are really interesting right now. So let me go into my vision. So normally I dream or have a vision, of people I don't know and places I've never been. Those are like two things. So this time I either owned or rented a really big house. It had lots of rooms, lots of spaces, lots of bedrooms and couches, you know, and then land, and it was just somewhere out there. Um, and in my vision, it's like I knew in my spirit that I knew lots of people. And one of the people that I knew had said, "Hey, I have a friend that needs a place to stay. Can he rent a room from you?" And so I met the friend. I'm thinking, yeah, I trusted the person that told me, and and said, yeah, have him come. And he can stay here, right? No problem. And all of a sudden, all these people started showing up. Even when the person that was renting from me wasn't there, these people just started coming in and they started like putting things away in drawers and putting things on shelves and spending the night. And I mean, I'm talking like 20, 30 people, right? Just showing up at the house and just making themselves at home like it was their home. And, I was like, what's going on? And it just was so quick. It was like within days, right? So I tried to take control and I tried to say words like, no, leave, you don't belong here. But every time I would stand next to a person who's putting stuff in the drawers, I would try to say, no, stop that. It would be like as if I was talking in water. I couldn't get the words out. I just could not. It just like all over the house with all these people. I was trying to shoo him out. I couldn't get the words out. It like was really strange. Then all of a sudden I felt this peace and the scene changed to where I went outside. All these people were still there, but it was a little quieter. Like maybe it was, towards sunset time. And I went outside and I looked up at the sky, and the sky was like blue with very light cloud covering, very thin. So even through the cloud covering, you could see some of the blue. But what I saw when I looked up were like two planes, but triangular in shape, but not of equal sides. So two sides were longer than one. So kind of like a paper airplane looking, shape. When you make a paper airplane. So there were two planes up in the sky and they were battling. They were like jumping all over in the sky. And then one rammed into the other one. And when it rammed into the other one, it kind of like as if it was an explosion, but the explosion turned into smaller, like orb looking spaceships, right? Like I felt like they were spaceships, not orbs, but they were round. And so that scattered all through the sky, and it was way high up in the sky. Then these round spaceships started spinning really fast, and as they spin, they were taking the energy from the clouds, and it was creating a spiral in the blue sky, like a very clear spiral. And so all these spirals were popping up in the blue sky, and that light coating of clouds was going into the spirals. So you could see the spiral and then this beautiful blue sky, spiral, beautiful blue sky, scattered everywhere. But as they were spinning, the spiral was getting bigger and bigger. And I knew in my spirit at that time that there would be almost like an explosion or something was going to happen that would affect all of us here on earth. And then I woke up. And then I thought, what was that? And then I went back to sleep. And so I've been pondering on it throughout the day. And one of the scriptures that came to me first was in Matthew 12:43 through 45. And it says, when an impure spirit comes out of a person, it goes through an arid places seeking rest and does not find it. Then it says, I will return to the house I left. When it arrives, it finds the house unoccupied, swept clean, and put in order. Then it goes and takes with it 7 other spirits more wicked than itself, and they go in and they live there. And the final condition of that person is worse than the first. That is how it will be with this wicked generation. So I believe that's the word for my vision. Okay? So keep that in mind. So I allowed in my vision somebody to come into my house. That person brought many more people with him that were more wicked than him. Okay? My house was swept clean before I let that person in. So I see it as like a warning, right? We I'm going to go into it more because the vision not only had a person come into the house with more to follow, but it also had those, the airplane fight in the sky with the spirals, right? So, okay, so one warning, be careful. But what that means is the airplane fight with the spaceships bursting and the spirals and taking that energy is like a sign of the times, the battles in the heavens. It's like the battles in the heavens that we don't see. But my spiritual eyes saw it, and I knew that there was going to be an explosion that will affect the earth. Okay, so it's like a warning, a double warning. One, you you be careful who you let into your house, right? Your house, that not your, also your physical house, but also your spiritual house. And be careful because we're heading into a different time on the earth, okay? So I'm thinking, huh? I think to myself, okay then. So tell me about this, Lord. And this is what I was thinking. You let somebody in the house. Who could that be? False teacher, demon, deceivers. Those are all demonic. Those are all antichrist spirits, okay? A lot of teachers who are false teachers, false prophets, are antichrist spirits. Plus, the people that are not believers, who mock Jesus Christ, who mock the Bible, who mock, you know, other believers. Those are all antichrist spirits, and there's many of them around us. Okay? So the Spirit expressly states that in the latter times, the end days, some will abandon the faith, okay, to follow deceitful spirits and teachings of demons, right? They will leave the faith and they're going to follow. They let somebody in, then more come in, and they become deceived more and more. And they're influenced by the hypocrisy of liars. They're all liars, right? Whose consciousness, these liars, these false prophets, their consciousness are seared with hot iron. Now I'm going to give you some scriptures. Ready? Write them down and then reread them. Read them in context, okay? 2 Thessalonians 2:3 says, "Let no one deceive you in any way, for it will not come until the rebellion occurs and the man of lawlessness, the son of destruction, is revealed." So that's the end. Okay, the end days won't come until the man of lawlessness and the son of destruction is revealed. That's what it says. 2 Thessalonians 2:3. But you can't let anyone deceive you. Matthew 24:10 through 12 says, "At that time many will fall away and betray and hate one another, and many false prophets will arise and deceive many." Period. See, and why am I connecting that at that time? That's in the last days, because I had the airplanes and the spirals burst in the sky, the battle in the heavens. Okay? And then it says, many false prophets will arise and deceive many because of the multiplication of wickedness. The love of most will grow cold. This is what's happening right now. Okay? 2 Peter, 2, 1. Now there were also false prophets among the people, just as there will be false teachers among you. They will secretly introduce destructive heresies. Secretly, that means like befriend you, you let them come on into your house. Yeah, I trust you, right? And secretly introduce destructive heresies, even denying the master who brought them, bringing swift destruction on themselves. Okay? 1 John 2:18 through 19. He says, even back then, "Children, it is the last hour." So, like that last hour, has gone on since Christ rose from the dead. It is the last hour, and just as you have heard that the Antichrist is coming, so now many Antichrists have appeared. Okay, we can't ignore that. Okay? We've had many Antichrists. Many have appeared. History repeats itself. We also have now a huge Antichrist spirit going on. This is how we know it is the last hour. They went out from us, but they did not belong to us. For if they had belonged to us, they would have remained with us. But their departure made it clear that none of them belonged to us. I think that that's part of that separation. I think God is, with his people, unfortunately, will, to protect us, maybe take some of those people out of your lives. 2 Timothy 3:1 through 5. Now listen to this one. Write it down. Reread it. Think about it. 2 Timothy 3:1 through 5 says, "But understand this, in the last days, terrible times will come, for men will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, unloving, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, without love of good." I see it right now everywhere. 2 Timothy 4:3 through 4 says, "For the time will come when men will not tolerate sound doctrine, but with itching ears they will gather around themselves," interesting, don't you see it? See them gathering around themselves. Okay, teachers to suit their own desires. Now, I find it interesting, because there's a lot more stuff out there, right? Like we have all these, we have Rumble, video, YouTube, and all these ministries going online. And you'll see people kind of group up, but what they're doing is they're gathering around themselves, those itching ears. And I'll tell you, since like 2023, I used to watch people and trust them, really love their word, their teaching, but I saw change. Something happened, and I can't watch them anymore, and it breaks my heart. Anyway, they will gather in, so they will turn their ears away from the truth and turn aside to myths, to lies, false histories, false reports. Okay. Um, I mean, I can go on, right? But I want to just say, right, that it's really important that we um, encourage one another. And I want you to read all of 2 Thessalonians 2, because in context, right, at the very end, there's some wonderful encouragement. So stand firm, okay? We need to stand firm. And, but 2 Thessalonians will talk about the man of lawlessness, how we let people in and become deceived, okay? And we have to be very careful in these days. So, God bless you, and thank you for listening.